customer service, done right, can be your company's single biggest competitive advantage. Welcome to the Customer Service Revolution. Join customer service authority and best-selling author John DiJulius as he interviews leaders who are revolutionizing their industries. This is more than a podcast, though. It's a movement. The Customer Service Revolution is a radical overthrow of conventional business mentality designed to transform what customers and employees experience. If you're a revolutionary customer service leader who's ready to stop competing on price and obsessed with building a brand that people cannot live without, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Customer Service Revolution podcast with John DiJulius. This week, John shares 4 different examples of companies who mistakenly thought they were losing customers due to lower pricing. In this episode, you'll learn what a VU is and how to find yours. How an industry where purchases were previously based on price was disrupted by customer experience. How you can't outsell poor retention, and what it really means when a customer complains about price. Now here's your host, John DiJulius.
Price myth buster. This is on the percentage of consumers buying coffee based on price. 1973. Who wants to guess what the percentage was of people that bought coffee? Remember, in 1973, there was 2 options. With or without cream. Nearly 80%. Someone said 79.6. Yeah, you get it. So, but nearly 80%. This is one of the oldest industries around. So if I am in the coffee industry in 1973, I'm listening to my customers. They're telling me that that's the only thing that matters. That's where I'm going to focus until a little company outside of Seattle came. In 2021, what do you think the percentage of customers that buy coffee based on price is in 2021? 28. 80% buy coffee based on price. That's it. It's hysterical. Hysterical. It's historical. It is hysterical too. It's a 1,000-year-old industry. Our consumers are telling us. And Starbucks calls BS. And it's a different world today. All right. Price myth buster. Another one. So I explained to you, John Roberts Spa, Northeast Ohio. Average haircut for a woman today in Cleveland. You talk about Miami, Vegas, LA, big city. It's, could be $150 to $300 for a woman. Here in Northeast, in Cleveland, it might be $31, right? Our least expensive, level 1 designer, they've gone through a year and a half of training. They've gone for their level 1. They charge $50 for a haircut. And we have 10, 15 that are over 100, up to 130. And they're slammed, okay? However, like Starbucks, their employees could apologize, feel bad, because they may, would never pay that much for a haircut. They never have. A lot of our hairdressers, when they start, they're 23, 25, right? They can't fathom. And they were uncomfortable with raising their prices. Became close. They're like, no, I don't want to lose her. And anytime, this is the trouble I had, anytime a customer didn't come back, a guest, didn't come back or complained, I would have some hairdressers say, see, our prices are too high. And they'd blame the price. So, we'd always tell them, whatever. So I had an example where, this is about 15 years ago, a guest complains. She went to a level 1 designer, at that time was charging $40, and she didn't like it. She wasn't happy with the haircut. So our salon coordinator gave her money back. And this is a great idea. She says, And I want you to understand, it was her first time. I want you to really enjoy John Roberts. Give us a second chance. So she gives her a gift certificate. One of our top level designers, Heather, who's in the back, who at that time was charging $75. And fortunately, the woman says, all right, I'll try her. Next haircut comes, $75. She pays. Today, that woman's still coming. She's with Heather, still going to Heather, and pays $130. Here's my point. At $40, it was a ripoff to her. At $130, it's a bargain. Many times when the customer complains about price, it's not because they're cheap or they're not willing to spend it. It's because our experience didn't warrant it. Price myth buster. Worldwide Express is a shipping company. They're a third-party shipping company for companies. And they had a problem. They were losing 19% of their customers a year, leaving them for lower prices. That's a lot. That means if you grow 20% in new customers, you're breaking even. It's pretty hard to grow 20% new revenue. So we had to find out why. And they were only transactional based. They were selling, getting you as a customer and moving on to the next customer. And they weren't responsive. They had no systems, very inconsistent. So they brought us in, Dave Murray, few years, went through all the commandments, the service vision, created a day in life. They promoted one of their rock star employees to chief experience officer, Audrey. Where are you, Audrey? Audrey, rock star. They put her in charge. What Audrey said stuck. She was committed to this. We went in, created a service action statement, the day in the life of a customer, systematized, relationship building. Here's what happened.
A key point in time where we hit about 80 million in sales, and we were growing fast, but we hit this point and we couldn't grow because our attrition rate was so high. We had 19% attrition, customer attrition. And my friend here said, listen, let's get John DiJulius involved. So I met with John and he told me about all of his customer experience programs. He said, listen, why don't you try it out for a year? I said, we're going to commit to 3 years right now. And I turned to every single person in my company. I said, we are committing to a 3-year program because that has to be the difference between us and the other 10,000 people who are out there selling our customers. So we hired them, and in 18 months, our attrition rate went from 19% to 3%. Our sales went from 80 million to 120 million.
Attrition went from 19% to 3%. Sales went from 80 million to 120 million. All right. He gave me the credit. Dave Murray and mostly Audrey. She was Mama Bear. She worked, dedicated, moved the needle. We could only bring the ideas to people. They have to do it. They have to champion it.
Join John, Murray, and the rest of the DiJulius Group as they host this year's Customer Service Revolution Conference. Tickets are on sale now for the 2-day event, filled with an amazing lineup of speakers. Visit customerservicerevolution.com for details.
Price myth buster. New Day USA. A mortgage company that only serves veterans of the military. That's their customers. And they had an issue that their veterans, customers, after they were approved for a loan, which is the hardest part, were opting out voluntarily, the veterans were, right before the loan funded. They got their cash. Like, they're at the goal line. The hard part is done, and they're fumbling the ball. 15% average, 15% of their VUs, veteran opt-out, they were losing each month to lower rates. So they thought. Every 1% of a VU was $400,000 in revenue. They closed a lot of loans. Why? Their account executives are all recent college grads. I mean, they have 500 and they're kids, right? In the mid to late 20s, most of them. And it's high pressure. And they have a lot of people in the pipeline and they stop communicating. So now they're saying, why'd you have so many VUs? Because they found a cheaper rate. Bull crap. Okay. So we found that the AE started ghosting the veterans. I don't know what ghosting is, but I asked my son, and they just weren't responsive. They weren't checking in. When something like the appraiser was supposed to come out or something was delayed, or they weren't telling you. They weren't in the certainty business because they were obsessed with trying to close the next veteran. Because I've already made the sale on you. I haven't made the sale on you. I want to close you so I have a better month, better week, whatever it is. So we help them create a system that account executives had to communicate with their veterans in the pipeline, in the sales line, every 5 days or the loan shut down. Loan shuts down, bells and sirens go off. The CEO, president, your manager find out about it. As a result, their average monthly VUs went from 15% to 8% over the course of the next 6 months. A reduction of 7%, which meant over $2 million in revenue per month. That's ROX. Find out what your VU is. And that's your return on experience.
We appreciate your reviews. Please be sure to share your comments and let us know what you're enjoying most on the podcast. And to hear more episodes, be sure to subscribe now on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening and being part of the customer service revolution.